Today I will tell you about the reserves of the occupiers in the south. That is where the main battle reconnaissance is taking place before the decisive phase of the counterattack. In the south of Ukraine, the main forces of the Russian Command East are involved, and they have almost completely entered the battle in this operating zone. The Russian command faces a difficult choice: either request reinforcements or reorganize its forces by combining combat formations. However, this option could leave gaps in the main line of defense, making it vulnerable to enemy breakout. For now, powerful minefields, with a density of 2 mines per meter, artillery and aviation save them from a breakthrough. One thing confuses me. Quantitatively, the Russian troops are in no way inferior to the Ukrainian troops trying to advance here. Neither in the number of personnel, nor in the amount of major weapons and military equipment deployed in this operational zone. Moreover, the enemy here is defending rather than advancing, and they need less troops than the AFU. Also, the enemy has an advantage in the air and quantitatively prevails in volumes of artillery and means of air defense. Let me remind you, all the ground forces of Russia have only 11 combined arms and 1 tank army deployed. That is, the enemy is now trying to hold the southern regions of Ukraine that it occupies with half of all its ground troops. And still it is given to him with great difficulty. As of today, he has not yet introduced up to 2 motorized rifle brigades and certain forces and means of the 18th Division into the battle. And that's it. At this point the enemy's strategic reserve in the southern operating zone runs out. However, it is also essential not to forget that some of these forces are already engaged in the operational zones of other directions. So, in the event of a breakthrough by the Ukrainian armed forces along the main defense line of the enemy, somewhere between Gola-Pristan in the Kherson region and Volodymyrivka in the Donetsk region, the enemy would be able to deploy up to 3 brigades simultaneously to attempt to contain the breach. However, even in the best-case scenario, it would take them up to 2 days to do so. And this is quite a likely scenario, given the fact that so far he has not been able to completely stop the AFU in the southern operational zone. What am I getting at with all this? And to the fact that it is already obvious that the enemy's intention to organize and strike at a convenient moment a sudden and powerful blow in an operational direction that is unexpected for the AFU may well lose any strategic sense. After all, it may so happen that the enemy will have to urgently patch up operational holes in the south with the forces and means that he prepares for this offensive. Therefore, in my opinion, the conclusion is obvious. The result of the whole summer campaign will depend mostly not only on how the parties will manage their reserves in operational and strategic sense, but how many of them will remain in combat-ready condition at the right moment, and in the right direction. And as far as I understand, the AFU has now engaged no more than 20% of this component. In fact, the Brownian movement between the groups of Russian troops points to what has long been said: the shortage of meat in the Russian occupation troops creates global problems for the Russian General Staff.